Chris, first of all then, pre-season to date, how's it been?
Yeah, great to be back. Great to be back at work, involved with the players. Short break, understandably so, with the predicament that we're all in. But yeah, we're back at it, and they're into it straight away. So hard work has already begun, and we have to move it on pretty quickly because, as I've just said, we're 2.5 weeks away from the start of the season. I always think that pre-season is quite long. So for me, I'm delighted that we're back straight into it, and really looking forward to hopefully another promising, challenging season in the Premier League.
Has it been very different this pre-season because it is such a short turnaround?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to plan and prepare, and obviously, our preparations were chucked up in the air. We were planning on going out to France, and quickly changes. But as I said, we have to react and adapt as everybody else does. So we're all in the same boat. So, it's a challenge for us to overcome, and we will do that hopefully to the best of our ability.
And presumably everybody's come back in 70 or 80% condition, haven't they? It's only been a couple of weeks without football.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. A couple of them have had a little go at it, I should imagine.
As the manager?
Of course, of course, as we always need to do. But when you reminisce and you talk about what used to happen when you finish to the start of pre-season, and pre-seasons has dramatically changed, and rightly so, because of what the condition the players need to be, because everybody talks about the Premier League and talks about everything with the ball and the technical point of view and the tactical point of view, but the huge physical demands that get put on the players, they need to be in really good condition, especially the way everybody plays, and from our point of view, the way we play or try to play. They need to be right, and they have come back in good nick, and we'll keep improving them to hopefully get them to a decent place come the game against Wolves on the 14th.
In the sort of broadest possible way, how do you plan to attack then this second season?
No change in our approach. There'll be a lot of speculation. There'll be a lot of talk, media talk about stats and an opinion on us, and we'll just keep our heads down and work extremely hard and be competitive in every game, and try and look to go and get something from every game. That's been the approach and the attitude of my team right the way through my period here, and nothing will change. We're obviously looking to strengthen the group, which first and foremost we have done in terms of bringing Rammers back and Wes. We've improved that department. I think it's been from Aaron's point of view, we're delighted with the deal that we've done. We've got an outstanding young goalkeeper for even though it still is, and it will be, I should imagine, with everybody connected to Sheffield United, a big number. But I think when you're in the grand scheme of things, it's a great bit of business for us in terms of securing that position and competition with Wes coming in for hopefully a long time. But we'll try and improve. So when the window shuts on the 6th of October, is it something around there, that we will be in better shape than we were when we finished at Southampton, and I'm sure we will. So the players understand the demands of the division. I understand now, after the season in it, that it's not going to get any easier, and we're going to have to work just as hard, if not harder, to maintain and improve, and hopefully we can have another excellent season, because the last one should certainly not be dismissed in anything else, but a fabulous effort from everybody. But we've got to go again, and we understand that's part of the test.
Fine young goalkeeper, Ramsdale, Bournemouth Player of the Year, obviously knows the place, and only spent a few years away. When you're trying to get him into the team, blood him into the team, what are his kind of characteristics that make him different, the same, whatever, as Dean Henderson?
I'm not really, I've got to say, you guys will try and bring it up. Dean, the last bit I'm ever going to talk about is Dean. He was great for us, and obviously he signed a new contract at Manchester United. I wish him all the best, spoke to him yesterday. But Aaron's our player now, and an outstanding young goalkeeper, and as you said, had a fabulous season. Personally, obviously disappointed that his team went out of the division, but know everything about the boy, and there's so much more in him. His improvement from when he left, and we knew he was a good goalkeeper then. I think that's been well documented. That was needs must at the time, and indirectly that money played a part in us getting to the position that we're in now. But we know everything about his character, about his ability, about his work ethic, and he's going to have tough competition as well. People will talk about Rammers and this, but Wes is coming into the building as well, and knowing what he's about, he's going to put enormous pressure on Aaron to produce. And if Aaron doesn't, or injury or whatever, then we've got another fine young goalkeeper in Wes as well. So that department's well stocked. But Aaron, he's got so much more in him to come, and hopefully he'll produce the goods for us as a football club, and we should be really positive. And I'm certainly delighted. I think it's a great bit of business, and to have that position, it is such a difficult position to recruit in, and to get the right one, the right two in the building as we have done for the period going forward, sets us up really well, and it's a hugely important position. Everybody talks about both boxes, and to secure that one and hopefully be good in that area is vitally important. And obviously at the top of the pitch, we recognise that we've got to improve the players that we've already got in the building, or add to that group of forwards to make us better at the top of the pitch. In between both boxes, you have to be good. You have to do a lot of things right, but really, ultimately, as you know, results, league positions get determined by being good in both boxes, and hopefully we can do that this year.
And on that then, where is the search then for further reinforcements? Where are you at?
Well, there is a search, obviously.
Is it close to anything?
An intensive one. It's a difficult market to deal in, isn't it? Especially what's happened over the last sort of 4 and 5 months. So we understand that we're not a big hitter in the division. As I've always said, I appreciate every help that the board give me, and we'll try and get the maximum out of what we've always been given. But we're certainly looking to improve at the top of the pitch and other certain positions. We've worked extremely hard. We can't, and I think you understand it, that we can't come out and give you names. I do still think there's quite a lot of lazy recruitment out there that jump on Sheffield United are in for him, and speculation, and all of a sudden other teams are in for players. And I think you understand with the players that we've got in and the prices that we've paid, how hard we've had to work to get them over the line, and we're still working endlessly to improve the group.
Sure. I know you love it when we chuck names at you, as much as we kind of love throwing them at you, I suppose. But the principal one at the minute, I suppose, that the national newspapers are talking about, Rhian Brewster at Liverpool. Is he a name on the list?
Well, at the top of the pitch, it's certainly something that we're looking to improve. The boys that were here last year, I'm sure will have enjoyed playing in the Premier League. The likes of Mousset and Ollie McBurney, young players that I'm sure there's more to come from. Their games and their experience in the Premier League will be vital, and their improvement will be vital. But we do need competition. We need different types of forwards as well. The loan market is something that we do definitely have to look into, and we will be exploring that. As I've said all along, I think that we're a club that's looked in a favourable view in terms of how we treat young players, and how important that other teams lending players to us is for their development. So we're hopeful that we can explore that market, but yet again we're going to have to be really smart and dig out some good deals, and as always we're a teaching football club. I've always said this. while these numbers might feel big to everybody, we're still trying to improve the players individually in terms of the work we do with them to be better players for us going forward. I want to keep everybody in the building. You know, it's a good group, but it needs adding to. And as we've always said, if we stand still, you know, then you end up, you know, not improving and moving backwards. And I'm certainly, you know, keen not to stand still from our point of view as a club.
Yeah, you and I spoke about Lees earlier in the summer. Obviously, big changes at home over the course of the summer. Is he refocused and back on it now?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it openly and honest. I was frustrated a touch, yeah, of course, because, you know, of the situation, and you know, I was frustrated for the boys as well. It was so difficult. You know, you looked at from Xander's point of view to the couple of the other boys, Richario was with us and Panos who was with us, and Lees as well. You know, the human beings. You know, they're normal people. They're not. They've got feelings and they've got emotions and whatever. And when certain things happen, and you know, of course it does affect you. And I think you can sometimes take it for granted. You know, the world that we lived in. You know, I'm going home and I'm going to see my family and obviously when we came out of that lockdown, you had contact with your pals and close friends. So obviously he didn't have that. So, you know, we made that decision at the time. At least he's back with us now, and hopefully, you know, he'll improve on which was a decent first season for us. He's a talent, isn't he? He's a talent, and if we can get him going and moving in the right direction, you know, the supporters think the world of him. You know, he's a popular boy and around him, but he has to produce performances, and he has to get through this pre-season and be in good condition, because the game, as we talked about, is a physical game, and if we can get Lees into a good place, he's going to be a huge asset for us.
A couple of final questions from me. Where does the land lie regarding John Lundstrom right now and him staying, his future? What's going on?
Yeah, John's back with us, so there's a contract offer there, and that's between the club and John and his agent. But there's no downside for John to down tools, and if he's here for the rest of the season, he's here for the rest of the season, you know. And if the situation changes between the club, then it does, or you know, he has to produce good performances, you know, and I have to make sure that he's committed to playing for us. And if I'm committed, I don't think anybody else should have any other issues about that, and everybody should give him the full support. You know, it's a decision that he's made, and you know, I'm comfortable with that. You know, would I like him to sign a new contract? Of course I would. He was outstanding for us, but if he doesn't make that decision, as I said, there's no you know, there's how can I say, there's no gains in him giving nothing but his absolute maximum to first and foremost to get into the team, and then, you know, produce performances for himself and the football club that everybody benefits from. And we'll just keep looking at the situation and keep, you know, turning it over. And if, you know, the window comes and somebody makes a bid for him, then that's up to John to consider and us to consider. And as I've always said, three parties involved in any transfer. The obvious ones, you know, the player, the stroke agent, selling club, buying club, and it has to be right for all three. And if not, John's going to be here for the season, and you know, he's going to be an important member of the group.
So there's been nothing yet, no formal offer from anybody for him?
I've not had a phone call from anybody regarding John or any formal offer. I'll be totally upfront with him if anything comes in, but nothing's happened. So you know, John's main focus is getting his head down, having a good pre-season, trying to force himself into a team that, in that department, we've got some good players. You know, Flecky's come back fabulously well. Ollie Norwood had an outstanding season. Early signs from Xander as well. The back end of the season, I thought it was great for us. He's come back absolutely flying. and obviously John and Ben Osborne stepped into the team as well. So we've got some good players there. Bash can go and play there. You know, Jack Rodwell can go and play in there as well. So big competition. So it does become a little bit of an individual sport pre-season for him to get into the team for the first game of the season versus Wolves.
And the final one from me, Freeman. There's a bit of talk he's having a medical at Forest. Is that true? Is that how you see it, Luke Freeman?
There might be a couple of players going out to come in. We've got to make sure that we get the numbers right. So there's been, as you can imagine, you know, big interest in Luke. He never played a lot. He was an outstanding player in the Championship. He played a few games for us. We changed the system a little bit. You know, we were when we brought Luke in, looking to play 2 10s at the time and play with 10 and a 9. So maybe the system didn't do him any great favours at the time, because we quickly changed and it worked for us. But there's been big interest in Luke. As you can imagine, he was a top Championship player, and as I am making, you know, lots of phone calls to clubs regarding their players, we're receiving a lot of phone calls on the likes of Callum and Luke Freeman and other players that never really played a big part in our effort last year.
So it still might be that Robinson is playing elsewhere next season.
Yeah, it might be, but he'd be playing here. So the boys are committed. They love it here, but you know, they've got to think about their futures as well and playing as well. So I understand that, and from a financial point of view as well, when you're sort of juggling and spinning a few plates, then you have to make sure that financially you get it right as well, which we always have done, and we always really need to going forward.